Hi, everybody. How are you? It's Stephen here. I hope you're well and enjoying the sunshine. Thanks for joining us here on the first virtual food festival Fringe program on our own channel here, live streaming on YouTube. It's great to be here. We've got a really great session lined up for you. These sessions, these Fringe sessions, are all about trying to support the local food suppliers, the producers, the growers, all of those people that we championed during our very first virtual food festival. It's also a place where we can raise awareness, show some support, show some love, have a chat, have a bit of a laugh. But most importantly, it's also a place where we can raise some cash. And we can do that because we've partnered with a crowdfunder. They're our new platform partner, and they can enable us to put up some amazing rewards and prizes that you can pledge for. You can go directly to the crowdfunder website and find our project, or you can go via our own website, which is the virtualfoodfestival.org, and there's a button there you can donate. And some of you have already been there, and some of you were lucky enough to pledge and win a place in the front row here today during our very first live Fringe presentation. So they're going to be able to ask questions. We're going to bring them in onto the screen, but don't worry, if you didn't manage to get onto the front row and you're watching live on our YouTube channel, of course you can comment, you can say hi. You just need to subscribe and show us a bit of love, give us a wave, tell us what you're doing, and tell all your mates to subscribe too. So we've got a full packed session. We have no idea yet how long it's going to last, but without further ado, let me bring in our co-founder, Jack Stein, and Jack is going to be able to talk a little bit about what he's going to be doing towards the end of this session, and a little bit more about some of those prizes and rewards that you can pledge for. And we've also got a big announcement coming up as well, but let's try and bring Jack in. Jack, are you there? You're going to join us all the way from sunny Cornwall. I'm assuming it's sunny here in Lyme Regis.
How are you? Yes, I am here. Can you see me?
Hey, how are you? Oh, nice shirt.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, from Rapa Nui. They're a very nice company from the Isle of Wight. How are you?
Yeah, really well, really well. Really excited to be going live again and catching up with you, and also to see you doing a little bit of culinary magic and chat to some of our producers. Of course, today it's all really, this one's all about championing the asparagus, isn't it? The mighty spears.
That's it. And this time of year, you know, is a time when the asparagus season's really in full swing. And you know, so we're champions St Enodoc Asparagus because I think it's the best in the world. But obviously, this is, you know, also for people watching, you know, go and find your local asparagus supply, because there's loads of them about, especially, you know, around Evesham, you know, that kind of area. I went to an asparagus festival there once, which was a thing. Yeah. So again, like, it's just this time of the year for the lockdown to happen for these particular suppliers, which couldn't be worse, because this is their whole season. And then for me, asparagus really signals the beginning of spring, and it's like, it feels like the first seasonal ingredient that chefs get very excited about. So it's good that we're showcasing it here today. I'm not in the rose garden, so I'm not going to start telling people to drink bleach or anything anytime soon. This is just my weird cherry tree.
Yeah, it seems full bloom.
Yeah, but it's got no cherries on it, so it's pretty useless.
Okay, well, it looks pretty, and we've got people in the front row, as you know. Just say hi to those guys.
Guys, thank you very much for donating and being on the front row. I'll have a chat to you a bit later and bring you on. And so yeah, if you've got any questions, we'll answer them later on my cooking demo. When I'm actually doing my cooking demo, my partner Lucy will be doing the filming handheld. So because I've got all my prep and everything here. I've just lit a barbecue, which I'm not a very good barbecuer, to be honest. So yeah, I've got some wine, I've got some salmon, some obviously amazing asparagus. So I'm going to show you 3 different ways to cook asparagus.
Yeah.
None of which require boiling, because boiling asparagus is not a good idea. So yeah.
Brilliant. All right.
And
yeah. Thanks, mate. I like that pink pan on the floor as well. That's really nice.
Yeah, this is my kids been banging them around. So
we'll catch up with you later. Thanks for that. We're going to bring Ross over. Ross Geach, also co-founder, generally to be found on his drinking bench on the farm, but he might be somewhere else today. See you later on, Jack.
Cheers.
Right, so let's try and bring Ross in. Yeah.
Landscape.
There he is. Great.
Hi, Steve, all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. What are you hiding behind your back?
I decided to not be on that bench because you and Jack have named it the drinking bench, and I
Yeah.
don't want to be known as that person.
Well,
So
you are.
I've chosen a different spot.
Just not today. So the place where you live, where your farm is stunning, but that looks like a slightly different view. Where are you?
Yes, we've come down to the very bottom of the farm. You can see that is Little Peverett Creek. There's the Camel Trail. Loads of people would have cycled that. People that are watching.
I've done that.
And
We've done that, kid.
Yeah, you've done it. I know, because we had a pint at the shipwrights after.
Yep.
And so I just thought I'd come down here to show everyone, just to kind of let people have a different view, because lots of people are just stuck in their houses. Lots of people are working really hard, and just to see something like this, I'm hoping will kind of help each the Saints way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So going from Ireland to Europe.
Lovely. About this particular Fringe and a chef, you know.
Yeah. So I'll just talk about. It's actually quite a difficult thing to grow, because you need to like feed them, and it's a really hard thing. Like now, St Enodoc Asparagus, who we're shouting, sell to some of the best restaurants in the country. They sell to Naked Outdoor. They sell to Paul. We need to help them, so we need to get that asparagus. And I've put it to you in the post. That's so they can send 3 kilo at a time, and they'll get it posted to you.
Kind of network of support that we've been talking, the idea of the virtual food festival. In fact, we can actually go up now to try and chat from St Enodoc. Whereabouts where you are?
It's actually quite. Can you see the bridge behind me?
I can.
Yeah. So Rock is on the other side. So that's Port Philly.
Yeah.
And St Enodoc Asparagus is just to the left. So as the crow flies, we're about a mile away. But if you had to drive it, it's going to take you a while.
Brilliant. Well, Ross, we're going to see you later on.
Yeah.
But if you just give us, before you go, just give us your top tip of what you would do with asparagus with your chef's hat on.
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 tips for asparagus. One is to just barbecue with salt and then have some sort of dip, like a hollandaise or a mayonnaise or something like that. The other one is to replace your asparagus with your bread and make soldiers and dip it in your eggs.
Brilliant. Should we bring Nat on, and you can have a chat to Nat, and we'll all have a little chit chat? Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm going to nick that last one. That's recipe for my own. Hello, Nat.
Hello, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Amazing, great. So we just had a chat with Ross. Have we got Ross with us? There he is. Hi, Ross.
Hey, Ross.
All right, Nat, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. So I'll just explain that. So the reason why the reason me and Jack come up with this idea in the first place wasn't just to help all of the local guys that are struggling because they sold to the restaurants, but also we're in a network of friends. So me and Natalie worked together 10 years ago. Do you reckon it was, Nat?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, so we worked at Rick Stein's Cafe. I was the chef. Natalie was working there, front of house, and we had a right laugh. And we've known each other ever since. And now you're in the family with the St Enodoc guys, the asparagus, and we're trying to help you. You're helping us. It all works really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
Great, and of course, we're talking about a small area in Cornwall, but of course, everybody up and down the country should be able to find some really great asparagus growers, and of course, the sentiment is the same: support your local asparagus grower, because everybody's in the same boat, right?
Yep.
Great. So, Nat, Ross has got to go away and change his shirt. And,
right, I'm going to go.
All right, mate. Yeah. See you later. Ross, you're going to come back later.
Well, actually, I might come back later, but I've got my Haywood Farm cider. Remember?
Yeah.
So let's see how we come back later, all right?
All right. See you, mate. See you on the bench. So, hi, Nat. Great to chat to you. And I know it's a particularly sort of difficult time, but there is an element of positivity about it, because you're finding all sorts of routes to try and get that fantastic asparagus that you grow out so that the general public and everybody else can try it. Just so I know, how many, do you know, is that the asparagus field there where you are?
Yeah, can you see it? This is only one of the fields.
Yeah. So how many acres roughly of asparagus do you grow, just to get a size of the
Yeah, we've
the
got
issue?
about 5 acres that we're growing at the moment.
Right.
They range from 20 years old to 3. So
Wow.
yeah, we're still picking the 20-year-old ones, and they're coming up amazing.
That's brilliant. I mean, they don't produce asparagus in the first year, is that right?
Yeah, that is right. Yeah, so we usually, when we plant our asparagus from new, we buy them in second 2-year-old crowns, so they produce some for the 3rd year. That's what we usually do.
Right. So it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a waiting game, isn't it?
It is a waiting game, yeah.
Yeah, paying it forward. And how long have you been there? 10 years?
8 actually.
Oh, okay. Right.
About 8, yeah. I worked over at Rick Stein's for the first couple of years, but 8 years here.
Okay, brilliant. And so, just to get an idea, you're selling through Rossi's farm shop. Where else can people? Are you doing any deliveries?
We are doing deliveries, yeah, locally within a 10-mile radius. We're selling in loads of different shops. Padstow farm shop as well, over that way. Treviska Garden Centre. We've got a really nice local farm shop just literally over there, which is called Ristaro, who they grow all their own veg, and they've been amazing as well. Nursery stores, loads of different places. We've been really lucky.
Brilliant, that's great.
Really,
Thanks. Sorry to interrupt. We've got people in the front row, and we're going to try and go to them. We just had a quick hello from somebody called Roger. Roger, thanks for joining us. Thanks for pledging, because the other thing that we're doing, as Jack said, is we've got the crowdfunder platform where people can put up prizes, we can put rewards up, and all the proceeds go to charity, and we're trying to help our local suppliers. So, you know, it's people like Roger who've joined us today which are helping to fund that. It's a really great spirit. Speaking of which, a bunch of your asparagus, how much is it going to cost me?
A bunch of asparagus is £3 a bunch at the moment.
Wow, that's amazing. Is that mates rates?
That's mates rates. No, that's everyone rate at the moment.
Yeah. Brilliant. We just lost Nat there. Hi Nat, back. How you doing?
Sorry.
That's okay, that's fine. So is there any value towards the end of the asparagus season in order to extend it? Does asparagus freeze well?
I don't think so, no. You probably can make some puree with it, but I wouldn't freeze it, no.
Yeah, it's all about getting it fresh,
the freshness,
getting it picked, and the sweetness. And has it, ironically, has it been a particularly good growing year, this harvest?
It has, yeah, because it's been so warm, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Asparagus likes it nice, warm, dry. So yeah, we've been really lucky, but obviously we've got loads of asparagus, and there's loads in the field today.
Yeah. And how many people are working with you to pick it? Because it's a bit of a backbreaker, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. So I've got Jax, who's obviously the main lady, Jax Bewes, who's my mother-in-law, and then I've got 2 other friends as well, who one's actually a chef and one's a baker. So they've been helping me out, which is really lovely of them. Brilliant,
because obviously they can't be working themselves.
Yeah, no.
Kind of community, drawing on that community spirit.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Well, it's amazing produce, and obviously looks fantastic in the field, but it's not to look at, it's for using and cooking. And so our aim is to try and get as much of that shifted either through our channels or your channels or with everybody else's help. So one more time, just where they can get it from, the nearest place to you. What's the postcode?
Postcode?
Yeah, where's your postcode?
Oh, my postcode, sorry.
Yeah.
PL276RP.
Brilliant, great, that's fine. You're gonna get loads of fan mail now.
I doubt
it. Brilliant, right, Nat, we've got Jack waiting in the wings, and of course Jack is using some of your asparagus to show us amazing ways in which to deal with it. Let's try and bring Jack in. And hi Vanessa, I can see you there in the front row. Let's bring Jack across and we'll talk to him about the demo, but it'd be quite nice for you just to say hi. Because you used to work together too, right?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to go to a question. All right, I'm going to go to the question. Vanessa, hi Vanessa, great to see you in the front row. How many varieties of asparagus do you grow, Nat?
Just one. It's called
Pretty
Ginlim.
simple.
Yeah, pretty
Ginlim.
simple. Ginlim.
Brilliant.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyhow, it might be wrong. Someone will probably pick me up.
That's all right.
Just one variety we grow at the moment. Yeah.
Great. And then I've got another one from
Go on.
Steve Ashworth. Steve, really great that you can join us. Thank you so much. I know you've been following us since the beginning. Perhaps we need to try and find a wider route to market. This is Steve Ashworth. Maybe a central hub, and then we could sell them at cost price. I think that's a great idea, Steve.
Yeah, I think so.
You know,
Yeah.
I think what we're learning is, you know, going directly to the supplier, because that does cut down costs. And then you've got this kind of whole aspect of having a human being that you're dealing with, as opposed to this faceless organization. But two great questions from our front rowers. We'll get more of you in throughout the day. Nat, it's been brilliant to chat.
Thank you.
That's okay. Here he is.
Thanks, Nat.
There he is. Hi, Jack.
Cheers, Nat. Thanks for the asparagus. It's amazing.
No problem. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Brilliant. Okay. So Jack's going to be Jack. You're going to be cooking the asparagus, and we've got a guest to bring in. Okay, Jack. We've just had a whispering rumor that we've got a very special guest waiting in the wings to come and say hi, who has purchased quite a few of those bundles of asparagus that Nat was talking about. And can we say hi to me old chum, Mitch Tonks, all the way over there?
Mitchy, how's it going?
Hello, Mitch.
Mitch, yeah?
Steve, you okay?
There you are, yeah.
Everything good?
Nice, yeah. Did we interrupt your family Sunday dinner?
No, we were just making pizzas.
Really? Oh, amazing.
And,
Mitch, just put yourself on. There you go. Otherwise, you spill wine.
Is that okay?
That's perfect, mate. Great. Jack with us.
You. Look at that sunshine out here.
That's lovely, isn't it? I know.
Are we live?
Yeah, we are live. And so a really great story. Just that there is a spirit and good feeling in the hospitality sector. We just spoke to Nat at St Enodoc. Tell us what you went and did.
The virtual food festival was, and it's £3 a bunch from the farmer, and we'll put it out there as £3 a bunch, and we're going to put it on. And I thought it'd be really cool. And everyone gets freshly cut asparagus. You're kind of, you know, our customer base to introduce them to Driver, really. And I've already had people text me saying, "Are you sure 100's going to be enough?" I mean, wouldn't it be great to do this all the way through the season?
You've always been one of the best, most generous people to share a stage with at a festival, and now you're showing how good you are at sharing the love when it comes to the producers. But you've always championed the producer, haven't you?
Always. I mean, you know, obviously for me, it's been seafood and fishermen, but you know, I'm one of these people that just gets incredibly excited when I see a product that I, you know, love and fall in love with, or that someone else is using, and you just really want to share it. I think that's kind of who we are in hospitality, right?
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I think you were also responsible for one of the best parts of our virtual food festival when we were live on Easter Monday. Everybody said how much that they loved that connection you made to the trawler boat coming in and then cooking the fish at home. It made it sort of, it really televisual, really.
Well, that's great to hear, Stephen. I mean, I recognise I'm pretty fortunate living in a fishing village and able to get really good seafood. But I think on that day, I had so many people just saying that they've never tasted fish as good. I mean, there's great fishmongers in Brixham and there's other boats selling fish too, but to actually get down to the boat that actually caught it on the day it was caught was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, Mitch, thanks ever so much for joining us on your Sunday. We're going to be joining. Oh, thank you. Okay, mate. I was just going to put a question to you because, of course, we've got people in the front row, but we don't want to ignore people on our live YouTube channel. And Chris, I think it's Chris Downing, he's got a question. He's talking about something that I picked up on. I'm not sure whether he's talking about asparagus or fish because it was Mitch, but fresh is best, but what about frozen? And let's just say frozen asparagus. Have you ever tried it?
I can't say I've ever tried it. I mean, I know you get the sort of the stuff. The French are quite keen on the kind of white asparagus in that's been canned. It's very nice. So that's I mean, you got to remember, freezing is just the most modern way of preservation, really. But canning is just as good. So I think that would be the way I would see asparagus being the season being drawn out, is you'd can it. So yeah, I mean, but with regards to fish, some fish freezes really well. Cod, for instance, freezes really well. The Norwegian cod that you pick up, the MSC certified Norwegian cod, is fantastic, and it's actually better because they freeze at the moment they land it on the boat. So I've actually been out on a cod trawler, and there's a huge kind of wet well in the middle, and the long lines come through the middle of the boat, and and they freeze it straight away, so it preserves the freshness. And as long as you defrost it correctly, and you let it defrost at its own rate, and it's best to do it in ice cold water, defrost it in ice cold water. It's fine, yeah. But some species just don't freeze particularly well, and they're best fresh. But like Mitch said, I mean, in this lockdown, we're seeing some amazing things happening with fishermen going out there and really just making the most of what they can do to earn a living. But I think the next major food festival, we will be exploring that in more detail, because it's a really interesting thing that's happening in the country at the moment with our suppliers. And obviously with this Fringe event, it's just showcasing asparagus, but we might do some more in the future, maybe showcasing some other things.
Yeah, we've got loads of ideas, and there's loads of content that we can create. So let's go on to your cooking demo, because you've been stretching those cooking muscles in the wings for some time now. You must be.
I'm just going to call my beautiful camera assistant in, Lucy, my fiance, because she's going to be doing the camera work. We've got a couple of kids to contend with, so this is what they say about live TV and kids. I mean, the dog's here as well, so don't work with animals and children. So we're just going to try a bit of everything. So let's pass the camera over to her.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi.
Hey.
I've got a baby on me.
So this is.
You've got to rest the camera on something.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to click on that. Hang on.
How do I make you big?
There. Sorry. Oh no. Sorry. This is.
It's okay. We'll get there. Nice.
Yeah,
and,
okay.
Are those your pants hanging on the line there, Jack?
Yeah. No, that's my dirty laundry. So I've got the asparagus here from St Enodoc. Amazing. Look at this stuff. I mean, the thing that I think that makes St Enodoc asparagus so good, I don't know if Nat went through it because I was just getting ready for my demo, but it's the fact that it grows so close to the sea, and it has this lovely salty minerality, which you don't get in other types of asparagus. But one of the most important things with asparagus is you can boil it, obviously, but asparagus, the flavour of asparagus leaches into the water. So if you've ever cooked asparagus, you'll notice the water's really green and smells and tastes of asparagus. So the best way to cook it is to actually cook it in an oil rather than water. So what I've got here, if Lucy could just look in this pan. Now you can do it a few ways. This is actually clarified butter. So this is just butter I've taken off all the solids. This is the way that Claude Bozzi does it, the 2-star chef in London. You can also do it in olive oil if you want to be a bit healthier, but it's locked down at the moment, and I'm just feeling like I'm going to do it in butter, to be honest. So
is that like a ghee?
So yeah, it's like a ghee, yeah, but I made it myself. What I do like to do with it is I take it a little bit further than you normally would, so it has a lovely, like almost a nutty quality to it. So I'm just breaking off the ends of the stems. I'm just going to pop them in there. It's literally going to poach them in oil. You don't want it too hot. You don't want it to go. You don't want to be boiling. You just want it to lightly poach. So then I'm just going to put a bit of a dodgy cartouche on top of that.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm just going to let that poach there for about 3 or 4 minutes. Now
what do you do with your end bits of asparagus?
I turn them into a velouté normally. So I collect them all up and then make them basically a thick soup with them. It's lovely. And then I use a bit of spinach for colour. Now here I've got a barbecue. I am not good at barbecuing. One of my I find barbecuing, it's like I'm a chef, and people when the barbecue comes out, everyone becomes a chef. You know what I mean? And I'm actually so I just let them do it. So normally what I do is I make a salad and make some ceviche or something. So I put that on the table while everyone's burning their sausages and doing their rare burgers and this, that, and the other. And I put the salads down, and everyone sort of snacks at that. But I'm going to barbecue them because it's another great way of cooking them. So with that, I've just got to do a few spears on the barbecue.
but I'm going to barbecue them because it's another great way of cooking them. So with that, I've just got two spears on the barbecue. Okay. I'm going to barbecue them because it's so with that, I've just got two spears on the barbecue.
No, is everything going all right for you there?
Yeah. We just lost you. We lost you momentarily, but we can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So I'm just going to let these cook away the two different ways, poaching and on the grill, and I'm going to explain the third way, which I'm probably not going to show you, but it's a really good way of cooking any vegetable.
Yeah.
So you need. Hi Milo, he's got his tractor up here. So all you need is a pot like this, and then you literally put in some water. It's basically steam it. Put about that much water in. Pop your asparagus in. Oh, it's off the laptop. That's why I can hear it. Like so, just like that.
Yeah.
Put your lid on, and then just give it about 3 minutes like that, and then season it at the end. And don't season it at the beginning because the water will just evaporate, and it'll be like salt water.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to keep the kid gently migrate the child away from. So the asparagus is gently poaching. Now I'm going to talk to you about the recipe I'm going to do.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, I'm doing salmon. So salmon's a very nice thing, goes really well with asparagus. So I've got some salmon from Fish for Thought, a 200-gram piece of salmon there, which I'm just going to season a bit of salt, like so. Let that sit there. It's always good to season your fish a few minutes before you cook it, just to draw some of the moisture out and it firms it up. I think Nathan does it for about 10-15 minutes before. And just run you through the other ingredients I've got here. So I've got some coriander, some basil, some peas, and some shallots and chili. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little nam jim, which is a Thai dressing. It's shallots, some of this fish sauce. This red boat fish sauce is amazing from Vietnam. I mean, the grades of fish sauce. It's like people just use one brand. Yeah. The grades of fish sauce from Southeast Asia are incredible. Some of them, cost. I mean, this is more expensive, but some of them can go, 100 quid. Check my asparagus is fine. But then I'm going to make that with some lime juice. So it's just a nice balanced Thai base. And then I'm just going to poach the asparagus, add some peas, and that's pretty much it. So just going to take that asparagus off now because I think it's getting there. So if you look in there, Lucy, you see it's just See, it's still nice and firm. You don't want to overcook it. The duck's going to start crying at me in a minute. So I'm just going to put that somewhere. It is difficult with a child around.
It's
put in the kitchen. Put in the kitchen for that.
There's never enough space. It's like, but it's great. It's great to have the kids there while you're cooking, even though it's a bit of a pain to begin with, because it's all about the family, isn't it?
Thank you, Lucy. Right, I'm back.
Quick question.
I'm going to get my pan for the salmon.
What was the name of the sauce? Just let me know again for Ali. Hi, Ali.
Hey, Ali. How are you?
So Ali is Ali. Yeah, that's okay. She wants to know what's the name of the sauce that you're making, not the one that you added in. What's the
nam jim. So that just is. It's normally just palm sugar, fish sauce, and lime juice mixed together. It's like it's a really nice sweety, salty balancing. The recipe will go up, but it's it's Thai basically.
Yeah, and we'll put the recipe up on the virtualfoodfestival.org.
As you can see, they're colouring up nicely, nice and charred there. I'll leave that on. Right, so the salmon, I'm going to cook skin side down in this pan here.
Yep.
I'm just going to leave that there. I want that skin to go nice and crispy, but I don't want to move it around because it'll stick. Don't mind, like it will stick now. So I'm just going to put the nam jim together. Some fish sauce. Quite a bit of fish sauce. Some sugar and a lime. juice. So, there we go. I tend to just leave the lime in there as well because I love the flavour from the essential oils on the skin.
Yeah, lovely. And that would be one that's not waxed.
Yeah. And then I'm just gonna, so if you can see whenever I cook fish skin side down for the most part. So when it starts to go opaque all around here is when I'll start to think about moving it. But right now it's nice and low. So I'm gonna drink with this some Chenin Blanc from South Africa.
Nice.
I don't know anything about wine, but I know I like this. It goes really well with seafood.
We'll have to get you with a Charlie on.
I know Charlie. I did try and get him on, but he's a bit busy. I think I don't know what he's doing. He's probably jogging or something.
Okay. There's a question.
Like wine.
Yes.
Yeah,
question,
lovely wine.
Yeah.
Lovely white wine.
Sorry, mate. We got a question from Roger Porter. Hi, Roger. Thanks for joining us in the front row.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah. Roger is quite taken by your new hairstyle. Looking good. Cooler than usual.
Yeah. Well, I used to have it quite a lot when I was younger, like this, because my hair is. I have a double crown. It goes all over the place. But me and my partner Lucy, we did because she's Australian. We did this kind of. We tossed a coin. Australians love gambling, so we tossed a coin to see who would do it first. Because I suggest I might do it. Then she got the idea that she'd like to do it, and as we can all agree, she looks far better than me. There we go. See, there she is. Look, and she's also coloured it. So yeah, I think it's just one of those things. Without my uncle's a hairdresser, so without even being able to visit him, it just seemed like that seemed like a smart thing to do. I think this is
Jack, we've got one in the front row that like to come on live. We'd like to get Vanessa to come on live. So a question for you. We're going to get to join.
Hi, Vanessa.
Just waiting in the wings in the green room.
She's in the green room. In the green room, we have my rider.
Yeah.
So my rider is a couple of bits of asparagus and some salmon normally. There you go, Milo. Thank you very much. So Milo's now.
Yeah, hi guys.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, good. Amazing thing you do for charity. Well done.
Thank you.
I'm loving asparagus. I got a couple of bunches from Ross's farm shop the other day.
Excellent.
So I'm waiting for those top tips. Well, I've seen a few that we've done there. Great. And I love it because it's really nutritious, like important for cell growth and DNA formation. But general question, like seeing as we've got this down, have you got a top tip for nutrition?
Say that again. Sorry, my kid's banging the pot. Say that again, sorry.
No worries. I've got a couple of more. I know what it's like. It's just like, fact that we're in lockdown and like nutrition's really important. So have you got any top tips for easy but nutritious meals?
Yeah, I think
Vanessa.
Yeah, I mean, oily fish would be it for me. My uncle's is a professor at Oxford. He studies he does a lot of studies into oily fish, and I think for me, the things like even just sardines, things like that, I think are really cheap and they're really plentiful. Tin sardines are great. Salmon's fantastic. Anything oily, I just think it's important that we feed ourselves as well as we can. And at the moment, I think that the salmon's pretty good. That's why I'm doing it today, because it's not too expensive either. But if you live near the coast and you can find a fisherman, there's some pretty good cheap deals going on some turbot at the moment as well. But that's for another day. And anything else? So I guess just trying your hardest to find the fresh. I mean, the fresh produce. I mean, even the supermarkets, there's a lot of fresh produce about. Yeah, and the season right now is perfect, and that's why we've got these peas, asparagus coming through now. We're going to have lots and lots of vegetables coming through now. I've even got a vegetable garden there. Broad beans will be coming in soon, because you can tell. I am terrible at this. My crow's eating everything. Ross has actually given me that many seedlings. They've all died or been eaten. So so that would be my suggestion. Yeah, oily fish and seasonal vegetables.
Thanks for that, Jack.
Thanks for that, Vanessa. Thanks for joining us. Whereabouts in the world are you?
Yeah.
Well, this is really strange because look, I've got this from Ross, so you can guess where I am. Padstow. Out of all the people that you've probably had donate, you've got a neighbour on.
Amazing. Vanessa, thank you so much.
Cheers.
Take care. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just to talk a bit more. Hang on, I'm just going to switch this around a sec.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you, Vanessa. Just to talk a bit more about what we're doing here. What I'm doing here is I'm just cooking the salmon. I've just turned it over, finishing that off. The Nam Jim's ready, so I'm getting there. Lucy, just grab the She's just going to grab the asparagus out of the kitchen because the kids decided to go indoors now. Sorry, what we're doing here with the crowdfunder and everything is really important. So we've set up a crowdfunding website, which Vanessa has very kindly contributed to, as have all of our front row guys and girls. And it's really appreciated because we're just trying to raise some money. And our charity is the NHS Emergencies Trust and the St Enodoc Homeless Charity. And I've been doing a bit of work with the NHS, going up to Trelisk and doing some food with them. And the thing that they say is obviously that it's really, they're very thankful, but they did say to us, there are people, other charities that are really struggling because of the focus on the NHS. And while we are going to donate to the NHS, we also just thought that something else. And the St Enodoc Homeless Charity is trying to help the homeless in Cornwall. And it's just one of those charities that I think, a lot of their volunteers are in their 70s, so they're having to self-isolate, and this has really hit them hard. So we're just trying to help them out as well, because and what we've done is obviously the front row. And if you go on the crowdfunder website, there's this opportunity to win I'm going to say once in a lifetime, because it's not really, but it sounds good if I say it. But you're going to win this amazing turbot from Fish for Thought, some St Enodoc Asparagus, one of our bottles of white Burgundy, which we hand selected. Me, my mum, my brother went over to France a couple of years ago to select this. It's amazing wine. And some potatoes from Ross at Padstow Kitchen Garden.
Yeah.
And the winner's going to be announced next week at the next big virtual food festival. And I'm then going to send it to you, and that you'll get it the next day, and I'll show you how to cook it on Zoom like this, like a private one-to-one cooking lesson, how to cook which is one of our signature dishes at the seafood, which is turbot with hollandaise. So that's it, and again, it's £5. All the money's going to charity, and we're just trying to raise as much as we can. On top of trying to help suppliers like St Enodoc Asparagus, we're also just trying to do the right thing, trying to raise some money using our friends and high-profile chefs that we know to do that. So I'm seeing a bit of something. That's a fundamental belief of the virtual food festival, and I think that's why so many people have been getting involved in help offering their services, because it's such an important time for everybody, but we can still have a bit of a laugh, learn a few things. I'm trying to cook outside with kids. It's a bit of a nightmare. So
it's real, and £5 is the price of a pint, and when the pubs reopen and the bars and the restaurants, that would be brilliant. I've got question from Steve. I think Steve Ashworth. Steve Ashworth wants to join us live.
Yeah, come Steve.
Let's bring Steve out. How was that salmon tasting, by the way, Jack?
Yeah, good. I'm just going to finish this now. Just Steve, while you're coming on, so I'm just going to sweat some shallots and some fingered chili. Lucy, just hold that. Hold it that way. Just hold it that way. I'm just a bit of green chili.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then into that, and then some pea. I'm just going to soften them off. A bit of salt. And some peas.
Hi, Lucy. Hiya.
Hi.
I'll be right with you.
Yes. Steve, are you there? We're trying to get Steve Ashworth to join us.
Hey, Steve.
Are you there? Have you got a question, Steve?
Steve, you there?
I'm here, but the other Steve isn't. All right, we'll try and get Steve in. You have a little slurp. You just finish off that dish.
Yeah, I'm just keep cooking. So I'm just gonna get the asparagus out. It's lovely, it's cooked lovely, and all the flavours retained in the asparagus now. A bit of salt. I'm just gonna eat this now.
And you can use olive oil as well as that clarified butter as well.
Yeah, olive oil's a healthy option.
Yeah, because Fiona Stewart wanted you to know that. Good. Hey, Steve, he's there.
Steve's back.
Steve.
We've got Steve live. Hi, Steve. How you doing? Brilliant.
Hey, Steve.
We're just going to try and unmute Steve. It's okay. We can't quite hear Steve. We're going to unmute you. Don't worry. Thanks anyway, mate. Don't worry about it. We could see Steve, but we couldn't hear his question. But Steve's been following us since the beginning, but he looked comfortable in his chair, at least.
Yeah. So I'm just going to, if you look, I've just softened off the shallots, the peas, put the asparagus in. I've got some wild garlic here as well because there's
Nice.
a lot of that around at the moment.
Yeah, it's flowering.
It's flowering, yeah. So I'm just going to soften that all down.
Just change the.
Somebody's excited.
There we go. Oh, hang on. Oh no, somebody's just, when sorry. There
That's
we go.
all right.
Oh, me again.
Okay, so I'm just going to wilt that all down there. Then I'm going to add my Nam Jim dressing.
Great. Got some nice colour in there.
Say that, sorry?
I said it looks like spring in a pan with all of that lovely vibrant green.
Well, look, normally you would do sort of beurre blanc with this. That would be in a classic way. But this is just a bit lighter, a bit healthier, a bit like what Vanessa was saying earlier on. Just using the best quality fresh ingredients. But there's no butter in this, which is quite unusual for salmon dishes that we do at the restaurant. Normally it's beurre blanc.
I love the way you talk about it being the healthy option, and you've got like a bottle of wine and a side of chaser.
Apart from the way that the asparagus is cooked, yeah, good point, well made, yeah. So I'm just going to plate this up now here.
Okay.
So I'm just going to sort of, it's not going to be. I will make this look a bit prettier in a minute. Just give me 2 secs.
Wow, what an amazing colour! Is there an alternative to salmon?
So what? Sorry.
Is there an alternative that you would put instead of the salmon?
Yeah, you could use it. I mean, again, any white fish, any fish goes. We actually do this with turbot at seafood.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything. I've got here, so just a bit of coriander and Thai basil, which I've just shredded up. And this is one thing. This is very unique to the north of Thailand. So it's like a roasted rice powder. There's just jasmine rice, which I roast in a pan, dry pan. And then blend in a blender, and it's just this wonderful, like you'll see when it goes on the plate, it just looks so, it's a nice crunchy texture.
Lovely.
So that's it. So that's let me just grab the phone there. I'm just going to switch around here, and there we go. So that is, if you can see that, so that is an St Enodoc asparagus with some wonderful salmon, Nam Jim, wild garlic, and peas. So that is, and then just to show that I can barbecue, I've actually overcooked them, so I forgot about them, to be perfectly honest. But so that's the way. So like I say, the most important thing with asparagus is find your local asparagus supplier. Where you can, use St Enodoc if you can, because they're fantastic and local to us here. But obviously there's lots of asparagus suppliers in the same boat. And poach it in oil, not water. And I'll put that recipe up on the Virtual Food Festival website in a bit.
Yeah,
and,
thanks. We've got a question from Roger. Just while we're trying to bring Roger in from the side, I mean, it's obviously an amazing looking dish, but the sad thing about this platform is we can't taste it, we can't smell it, but it must be so vibrant and fresh and absolutely bang on spring.
Yeah, say that again. Sorry, I've just I've got the YouTube on in the background, and it's giving me a headache hearing my own voice on loop.
Echo. I was just saying that for everybody who's watching. Hi, Roger.
How are you doing?
How are you doing?
Roger.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good, thank you, Roger. Who are you with?
This is my beautiful girlfriend Claire.
Hi, Claire. Nice to see you.
Hey, Claire.
Hiya.
Yeah.
What's your question, Roger?
Well, first of all, I'm just really excited about this competition because I mean, well, why wouldn't you want to win it? Let's be fair about it. I mean, it's just amazing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the roast troncon one?
Well, it'll be a whole turbot. So actually, it's a thing for 4 people. Yeah, you can roast it in the oven. But the way we do it at the restaurant is, we will sear off a tronchon of turbot. That's our classic. But this is the way of doing it for a big family of 4, and a nice bottle of wine. So it's going to be amazing. I mean, it's this is the best fish in the world, and it's people get a bit nervous about cooking whole fish, but it's actually really forgiving to cook fish on the bone and to cook it whole because it's it's like if you have a fillet, it can overcook really quickly. But when you've got the bone structure, it kind of it's like roasting a chicken. You've just got a bit more leeway either way, and it will keep it nice and succulent. So we can't wait to do it, to be honest. And I'm looking forward to getting to doing it with the person and getting a few glasses of wine down me.
I must admit, I'm very fortunate in the fact that I've been to the Padstow Christmas Festival every year since it's in conception, and every year I've booked into the seafood restaurant, and every year I have the same thing, which is the roast trocon of turbot, because I just love it every time. So.
Yeah, well, you're eating very well, Roger. It has to be said. You're making very good menu choices.
And Roger, you've also got very good tasting glasses.
Thank you very much. Well, you got the similar, yeah.
Yeah, you two could be related. But no, honestly, thank you, Roger. Thanks for donating, because it's really
no problem.
It's obviously a lot to ask to take money to sit on a virtual food festival and hope that we really appreciate it.
It's thank you to you guys. I mean, this is just massive what you're doing. It's just fantastic, really. I mean, I'm just grateful to be a part of it, really. But just one very quick question, if I may.
Yeah, go for it.
When you're cooking like the salmon, I really struggle with making when I'm cooking fish to get a crispy skin. And I've tried it several times, and it just turns out, when I turn it over, to be sort of like all bitty, and the skin sticks to the pan. So I'm obviously doing something wrong.
Well, if you saw what I did there, you start actually cook it on a medium heat. That's the key. You don't want to cook it on too high, because you need to give it time to crisp. So if you cook it on a high heat, you'll burn the skin before and it will start to smell burnt, and that will mean you'll try and turn it, and it will basically stick. If you cook it on a medium high heat and just let it sit there, because you let it sit there, and then it will basically, after about 2 or 3 minutes, you'll see it starting to go opaque on the outside, and actually it releases itself when it's crispy. So it won't.
Really?
Don't touch it, don't move it. Put it in the pan, just leave it. You can leave it. So say that piece of salmon took 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes to cook. I wouldn't have turned it until 3 minutes through, because you just want to let that skin crisp up, and then once it's crisp, it just becomes like a non-stick pan to itself. It just lets go. So you have to be patient with it and just not move it around, because at one point that piece of salmon, or you'll see it in a minute when I put the picture up, it's perfectly crisp skin, but there's 1 minute when I looked at it and think, oh god, that might stick, and I just thought, you know what, I know that you just leave it, and then it just releases itself. So that's the way. Nothing more than that. Another really good tip is if you get some baking parchment and put it into your pan and cook the fish on the baking parchment, it won't stick. Even if it's a pan that's like used to be non-stick, just use a bit of baking parchment and put the oil on that, and that way you've always got a non-stick surface if you need it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Great.
Roger, brilliant. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for pledging and supporting us both.
Well, welcome, guys.
We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Take care. All the best.
Thank you, mate. And Jack, brilliant. With all that going on, kids, dogs, and fire, barbecue, amazing to do something. Vanessa just wants to know very quickly, where do you get the Thai basil from? She used to use it all the time.
Thai basil we get. I mean, some Waitrose do stock it, and some of the bigger supermarkets do stock it. So that's the best way. You can just use normal basil though. Thai basil just has more of a licoricey flavour, and it's quite distinct. But normal basil is perfectly acceptable.
Cool. And then because we were able to link to Steve visually but not hear him, we're going to try and get him in again, and hopefully we won't have to get him to mine. But let's give Steve Ashworth another chance. Steve, come and join us, Steve. Hello, mate.
He's muted on me.
Yeah, we're just gonna. Don't worry, Steve. There
we go. Hey, Steve. How you going?
That's a problem of trying to use technology when you're not too familiar with it. And
don't worry.
The amount of Zoom calls I've had in the last few months.
I tell you what, we're all becoming very au fait. I mean, this is like the biggest IT lesson, for the country ever.
I don't think I've ever said Zoom before, but about 3 weeks ago, that's all I seem to be doing. Imagine now we've got Steve on. He's going to say, "I tell you what, lads, this show's rubbish."
It's brilliant. I just think it's such an initiative, and it's great to actually just be supporting the local producers, connecting to the local producers as you are, and anything we can do at the moment to do that, to keep the producers and everything going, because ultimately as restaurants and everything, you're going to need those producers at the end of all this. So it's so important for that.
It's really important. And Ross and Jack and myself, you know, we don't see this as a kind of short-term thing. You know, we might be able to change the way people think about it. Imagine at the other end of this, you know, we could have altered people's mindset. What do you say, Jack?
Yeah, I envisaged a time where you'd be going and saying, you know, going live to a fisherman who's coming in and saying, this is what I've got on my boat, who wants it? You know, that, you know, during lockdown, you're exactly right, Steve. I mean, you've hit the nail on the head, actually, which is our restaurants have been closed. You know, we're all scrabbling to try and keep them going. We're trying to get those emergency bank loans and insurance claims across the line so we don't go bust. And there's a lot of suppliers out there that rely on our trade, and you know, we want them to, you're exactly right. You know, you couldn't put it better myself. We want them to be open when we reopen, because they're, you know, we've worked for some of these guys for 20, 30, 40 years. And, you know, and because they are becoming, you know, like people like St Enodoc are now doing online ordering and stuff. That's because of the situation. So we just want to make sure people realize that the ingredients that we use as chefs in our kitchens that we would have been cooking tonight with if we weren't in lockdown, you can access them at home. And these are the places to do it. And obviously we're building a great supplier portfolio on our website at virtualfoodfestival.org, and you can order from them. People like Philip Warren, hey Milo, people like Philip Warren and Fish for Thought, Matthew Stevens, all these people. So yeah, thank you very much for supporting us. And like I say, it's a great initiative, and it's one of those things when we had the idea, we just thought this could really work. And thanks to lots of people's support and, you know, the people who've helped us along the way, you know, it's coming together. There's a few technical issues today which we'll resolve, but we're planning our next big event on next Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, a lockdown and everything else around this, I must admit, I mean, I'm passionate about food suppliers and chefs and restaurants and that, but it's helped me fall back in love with cooking. It's a bit surreal, really, but getting some of the great produce and everything. I do struggle with lunches. I'm finding, because I seem to be cooking at least 2, if not breakfast as well, 3 meals a day. Lunches are, especially for the family, are proving the interesting thing to keep thinking up new ideas.
What's funny though, Steve, is don't you think, like, you know, like classic cuisines of the world, you know, Indian and say Italian, they have these long braised dishes. It's because you put them on, like, you know, because they you know, you've got phases through the day, and you've got, you know, you put it on in the morning for the evening, and you know, that's where all these like amazing things, like, you know, the great spaghetti dishes and or you know, things like curries and things come from. It's just, you've got all this time in your hands, but actually it's quite hard to get all of the meals done. And you can see it's so interesting looking at world cuisine, thinking that's why people might have a long lunch and then a small supper, you know, like, you know, that's what this weather has been able to have us, you know, bit of a, I'm a big fan of a long lunch. I always
going at the moment.
One.
I don't know about you, Steve, but I'm sick of emptying the dishwasher.
Steve, brilliant, lads. Absolutely brilliant.
It's been brilliant to have you. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for following us and subscribing on our YouTube channel. Steve, take care. Jack, we're gonna substitute Steve Ashworth there for co-founder and pal Ross Geach. We're going to bring Ross back in. Thanks to everybody in the front row. Thanks to everybody also on the channel who've been asking questions. One last question from Fiona, and Fiona Stewart wants to know whether or not you can eat the wild garlic flowers and leaves that you put on the plate. I'm assuming you can.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're all edible, all wild garlic. Obviously, just be careful when you're foraging anything to check with a reputable book. There's a few really good books out there, but wild garlic, you can normally tell because it smells of garlic. It's a basic, you know, I don't forage myself very much, but I do trust myself with wild garlic because of the way it looks. So always consult a proper guide before going out there and picking stuff, because as we know full well in this current climate, people are saying you should ingest all sorts of crazy stuff like Dettol. So just be careful, take proper advice.
Yeah, brilliant. And if you can get out, then to go out somewhere close by and forage for wild garlic, it's a brilliant thing just to kind of clear the mind and engage in nature and kind of just escape this lockdown. I can see Ross waiting in the wings. Hi, Ross. Hello, mate. You all right, Ross?
Hello, all right?
Yeah. You having a nice day?
Well, I've come back up to the top of the farm because apparently we had a few technical issues down at the bottom by the creek.
Was it because you were too far away from the bend?
Well, either that or, you know, we haven't got the best 3G and 4G down in Cornwall, so maybe down in the creek was pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear, and I can see you crystal clear as well. Jack, come and join us because we're kind of coming to a close on our first virtual live Fringe session on our YouTube channel, and I think that both of you guys wanted to make a joint announcement, some big news that's coming up.
Yeah, but before we do that, can I ask Jack why he's drinking Thatcher's?
Well, I'm drinking Thatcher's.
Well, we got the cider man up the road, mate.
No, but it needs must when the devil drives. It's all I had in the fridge.
All right, well, we'll get you a box of Hayward Farm cider so you can drink that.
No, I will do. Yeah, no, it's a good point. I mean, to be honest, I'm going between wine and cider, which is probably not a good thing.
Well, am I the only professional one here? I mean, you know.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. Sorry.
Is that vodka, Steve?
Yes.
Yeah. So we just. Oh my god. Ross, do you want to start? I'm just going to try and move this child.
What are you doing with that? Yeah. All right, I'll start.
So you go indoors if you look.
So let me tell you what's going to happen. Now Jack's gone because he's got his children there. You know that. But basically, we're going to be doing a big food festival next week, Sunday the 3rd of May. And me and Jack are going to do demos, interacting with people, chatting with people. And I'll just name a few of the names, and Jack can fill in any that I forget. But we've got Mark Hicks, we've got Stephen Hendry, the snooker player, which is absolutely mental. Yeah, he can do one.
That's a funny story. I'll tell the story behind that one. So Stephen is a big foodie, and I'd had a few ciders one night, and I just thought I might, because it's, the virtual food festival, the demos are just they're fun, aren't they? But it's more about just talking and engaging with people. And he loves food, and we talk a lot. He messages me a lot about different things, and I just said, "Do you want to do a food demo?" Next day, I got a phone call from this number that I'd never heard, and it was. And normally, if I get a phone call from a number I don't know, I always pretend like I know who it is, because quite often I forget to save the numbers and this, that, and the other. And it was Stephen Hendry, and I was like, and he was like, "I'm really nervous." I'm like, "You've gone out to the Crucible and won millions of world titles. Just enjoy it." So he's going to do a demo. So I'm really excited about that. And it's a fantastic. He's a great guy and loves his food, so that'll be really good fun. And who else? We've got obviously Rick, my dad. Rick is going to do another demo. Nathan Outlaw, King of Fish, he's going to be doing a demo live with his fishmonger. George, who else, Ross?
We've got Kathy Slack going to do one as well. And to be honest, with that list in front of me, my brain is bloody terrible. Oh, Sophie Mitchell, we've got Sophie.
Yeah. Gizzy Erskine and Sophie Michelle are both.
Gizzy Erskine, yeah.
I'm doing a food talk with a food historian called Dr. Polly Russell, who was a food historian on my TV show. She's got an amazing encyclopedic knowledge of food and history. So we'll do a delve into Britain's culinary history. Ross, you're doing a talk.
Have you heard of anybody called Nathan Outlaw?
Yeah.
Who's that? No. Yeah, Nathan's a good friend of mine and Jack's. I can remember when I was washing pots at Rick Stein's, Nathan was cooking at the seafood.
Yeah.
And now look at him. He's doing so amazing, and we're so proud to have him on board for the next festival.
Brilliant. Great.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that Stephen Hendry's coming, because people will be queuing up to see him.
Queuing up. Yeah.
Oh,
without
I
him,
get
you'd be
it.
snookered, wouldn't you?
Very funny. No, yeah, very funny. I'm sure these will I'm sure he's never heard those before.
Great. And so we've got a brilliant lineup. Do we know what date, what time, where we're gonna what we're gonna wear?
It's going to be Sunday the 3rd, starting at 9 a.m. So we've got a live cross to Australia with Rick again to start the festival. And then we've also got a live cross to Barbados where Sophie is. So it's becoming more of a world virtual food festival as we go on. So yeah, we'll be here on the YouTube channel. We're also in between demos this time. We're going to have a few little chats. So we're going to chat to a guy called Kim, who's a food economist. And basically he's going to tell us a few funny stories, and I know one of them he's going to tell is about how I nearly burnt down an entire stage. But he's one of the best in the business, and he's obviously currently not working because he would be doing all the big food festivals. So we're going to have a little chat about how the food economist, the home economist behind the scenes basically does all the work. Brilliant. And the chef just stands there and puts it together. So we're gonna intersperse. So we're going to do demos on the hour every hour, starting with Rick, ending with Nathan, and then all in between. But that'll all come up on our Instagram and YouTube.
And Jack, we need to talk about Sam Bishop as well, don't we?
Oh yeah, and we've got a wonderful sponsor, Trevere Farm, which is a very high-end kind of self-catering cottages near us. A lot of people that our clients stay there.
You can see his field, Jack, from here.
You probably can. It's a really badly kept one, isn't it? It's really muddy.
Don't wind him up. He's helping us.
He's a lovely bloke.
It's the only brown field we can see.
He's got this amazing property, and we really thank him for sponsoring, because at the moment we're just doing we're doing this just off our own backs, and it's great that he sponsored us. So and he's what's known as a Google farmer. So basically he's got a farm, and if he doesn't know what he's doing, he just Googles it, and that's so his barns are amazing. His B&B and his self-catering stuff is unbelievably well furnished. I'm
not sure I understand.
Top of the range. His farming skills, on the other hand, leave a little bit to be desired.
No, he's good. He knows what he's doing. He does. He's a good bloke.
I've never seen a lamb. He did lambing this year, and he had CCTV on his phone so he could watch the lambs as from home.
Brilliant.
Most people stand out in the field. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not slagging him off.
Yeah. Well, if he's a Google farmer, then maybe we can get a little bit of money from them too. So, lads, we've got just one more thing, because the prize, the money can't buy prize that Jack's put himself up, one-to-one cooking on Zoom, all of those fantastic ingredients, brilliant stuff from Ross in that package. When is that going to be announced? When's the winner going to be announced?
So Rick will be announcing that on the food festival on Sunday.
Brilliant.
So you've got another week to go on that one.
Yeah, so you can pledge on Crowdfunder, and Rick's gonna announce the winner, which is pretty cool, really. So not only do you win it, but Rick Stein mentions that you won it. That's pretty cool.
Great. All right, lads, and you can also join the front row for the festival as well, and kind of ask questions to all of those brilliant chefs.
Yeah, we'll be putting that up on Crowdfunder over the next couple of days. We're going to work through a few of the technical issues that we had a bit of lagging, so we apologise for that. But we're going to come get to the bottom of that, and see you all next Sunday. Thank you very much. And thank you, Steve.
Brilliant. Well done, Jack.
Thank you for hosting, Steve. And also, let's just say thank you to Lawrence from Solve Web Media, who's been putting the website up and sorting the plugins and doing all the technical stuff that me and Jack wouldn't have a clue how to do.
Yeah, to be honest, he is our food economist at the moment, because we've just thrown a load of, we don't even really know how to open Google, and sometimes he works all night long, and he's been amazing. So Solve Web Media, they're a major sponsor of ours as well, and he's just can't say enough about the guy. He's a legend. So check them out online.
Well, without him, we wouldn't be on YouTube Live now. So
without him, I don't know what I'd be probably drunk.
Yeah, that's great. And thanks to everybody in the team that's also making this a sort of success. Guys, thanks. Brilliant.
Yeah, and thank you to you as well, Steve. And we know you've got Ellie behind the scenes. Right.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Cheers now.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Cheers.
See you guys.
See you later. Bye.
And, that's the end of our first Fringe Festival live. We'll be doing these regularly. We've got the next live virtual food festival coming up on the 3rd. Come and join us. Come and see us on the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Tell us how you think we're doing, and send us lots of comments, lots of questions. And also, don't forget, get on Crowdfunder. You can get there directly, or you can go through our website and you can see the donate button there and pledge, because all of the proceeds go to the fantastic charities that need it most. And we're also there to raise awareness for all the fantastic suppliers. This has been great fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks to you for coming along, and take care. We'll see you on the 3rd, 9 a.m. and we'll kick off with a message from Rick.